Hello everyone, welcome to Weldisics. The topic for discussion is nickel and cobalt alloys surface preparation for welding. Exploring AWS Welding Handbook, Volume 5, Chapter 4. Let's get into the topic. Surface preparation for welding. Cleanliness is the single most important requirement for successful welding of nickel and cobalt alloys. At high temperatures, these alloys are susceptible to embrittlement caused by low melting point substances such as remnants of materials used in manufacturing processes. A clean surface before welding is prerequisite for all the process described in this chapter. So the major key points to be remembered is cleanliness. So for the surface preparation, cleanliness is the key factor for before starting welding of nickel and cobalt alloys, because high temperature of these alloys are susceptible to the embrittlement by low melting substances like constitutional equations, so on. Better cleaning the surface, it will give a better results of welding. Nickel alloys and cobalt alloys are embrittled by sulfur, phosphorus and metals with low melting points such as lead, zinc and tin. Frequent sources of contaminations are lead hammers, solders and wheels or belts that can be carrier of these materials. Detrimental elements are often present in oils, paint, marking crayons, cutting fluids and shop dirts. So this paragraph describes about the embrittlement, the elements which are responsible for the embrittlement, like sulfur, phosphorus and metals like with low melting points like lead, zinc and tin. And the detrimental effects can be occurred because of oil, paint, marking crayons, so on. Figure 4.3 shows an example of cracking in nickel 200 sheet that was improperly cleaned with a contaminated rag prior to welding. When such embrittlement occurs, the alloy is destroyed and cannot be reclaimed by any kind of treatment. The contaminated area must point not adjacent to the cracked area. Then the surface must be thoroughly cleaned before welding. So this figure 4.3 describes about the cracking from sulfur contamination. Because of the sulfur contamination, cracking was occurred in heat affected zone of a weld in the nickel sheet. Nickel sheet, it is provided as a nickel 200. Many cases of contamination have been reported when weldment in surface must be repaired or modified by welding. It is particularly important that adequate attention be given to cleaning before applying heat from any source. Chemicals used for processing during prior service can also be sources of contamination. Figure 4.4 shows an example of sulfur and lead embrittlement in nickel copper alloy 400 installed in vessel that had been used to process fatty acids. The specimen was removed from the tank, which had been previously lined with lead but was not properly cleaned before the installation of nickel copper alloy 400 lining. This paragraph clearly states that nickel and cobalt alloy weldment during the service condition, many repair was addressed because of improper cleaning. The example provided is nickel copper alloy 400, which was used for the process of fatty acids, which was initially lined with lead. Afterwards, it was not properly cleaned. Because of improper cleaning, combined effect of sulfur and lead contamination of the weld in the nickel sheet in the specimen removed from the fatty acid tank previously lined with lead, as shown in the figure 4.4, the detrimental effect was addressed. Depth of attack varies with the type and the level of concentration of the embrittling element, the base metal, the heating time and the temperature. Nickel 200, for example, is easily embrittled, whereas iron nickel chromium alloy 800 is less sensitive to embrittlement. This information provides little remedy, however, and the fundamental rule when welding nickel and cobalt alloy is the following: unless proven harmless, all foreign material must be considered harmful in the presence of heat. So the above mentioned paragraph clearly describes about the base metal, the heating time, the temperature and the embrittling element plays a vital role, and nickel 200 is more embrittled when it is compared to nickel chromium iron nickel chromium alloy 800, where iron nickel chromium alloy 800 is less sensitive to embrittlement, and all the foreign materials need to be considered as harmful in the presence of heat. This is also considered as one of the important factor in surface preparation. The use of copper backing bars when welding cobalt alloy sheet requires special attention. Contamination by even a minute amount of molten copper will lead to liquid metal stress cracking in cobalt based metals. For example, a small amount of copper inadvertently transferred onto the surface of a sheet from a backing bar will cause severe cracking when melted by the heat of welding. This can be prevented by plating the backing bar with nickel or chromium using stainless steel backing bar or using commercially available paste, tapes, or ceramic backing products. So the above mentioned paragraph, after the surface preparation, if a manufacturer is interested to use copper backing bar, so the special attention is required for cobalt alloys because it is detrimental to liquid metal stress cracking, which may be causes because of melting and because of heat of welding. So in order to avoid that, the prevention measures can be taken by using nickel or chromium, using a stainless steel backing bar, or using commercially available such as paste, tape, so on. So it can be used to avoid these kinds of cracking. Next, to prepare all these alloys for welding, oxides formed by previous thermal procedures must be thoroughly removed from the surface of the workpiece because they inhibit wetting and the fusion of base metal with the weld metal. The presence of oxides can cause weld inclusion and poor weld bead contour because the oxides melt at much high temperature than either the base metal or the filler metal. The above mentioned paragraph describes about the role of oxides, oxide formation, and how it inhibits the weld metal by formation of wetting and the fusion of base metal hindrance which occurs because of these oxides. The presence of oxides can cause weld inclusion and poor weld bead contour because the oxides melt at a much high temperature than either the base metal or the filler metal. If wire brushes are used for cleaning weld beads, the brush should be made of austenitic stainless steel or nickel alloy. However, brushes will not remove tenacious oxide such as those that occurs on the weld in the age hardening alloys. These oxides must be removed by grinding with an aluminum oxide or silicon carbide wheel. Carbide deburring tools are also successfully used for oxide removal. So this paragraph clearly mentioned that how the oxide layer can be removed. For removal of oxide layer, austenitic stainless steel need a wire brush which was made of austenitic stainless steel or nickel alloys. It can be used. However, brushes it will not remove the tenacious oxide on the weld. So for removing the tenacious oxides, we need to use aluminum oxide or silicon carbide grinding wheels. Even carbide deburring tools is also used for removal of oxides. If a workpiece will not be subsequently reheated, a cleaned area extending 51 mm from the joint on each side will usually be sufficient to prevent damage from contamination by foreign materials. The cleaned area should include the edges of the workpiece. The method used for removal of foreign materials prior to welding or heat treating depends on the nature of the foreign materials. Sharp dirts, marking crayons, and inks and materials with an oil or grease base can be removed by vapor degreasing or by swabbing with suitable solvents. Paint and other materials not suitable in degreasing solvents can require the use of alkaline cleaners or special proprietary compounds. If alkaline cleaners containing sodium silicate or sodium carbonate are used, they must be completely removed prior to welding. Wire brushing will not remove all these residue. Spraying or scrubbing with hot water is required. A process chemical such as caustic that has been in contact with the base metal for an extended period of time can become embedded and require grinding, abrasive blasting, or swabbing with a 10 volume percent hydrochloric acid solution followed by a thorough water wash. Safety precautions noted on the safety data sheet SDS provided by the manufacturer of solvents and other cleaners must be consulted and followed during use of the products. The rough surface or skin of casting can contain sand, silica that must be removed prior to welding. Chipping, grinding, and machining are the most common methods of removal of skin from the surface of casting. So the entire passage describes about how the surface need to be prepared, and the rough surface or the skins like silica or the sands which is present on the surface, it can be removed by using chipping, grinding, machining are the most common methods for removing the skins from the surface of the casting. So the entire presentation describes about how the surface need to be prepared before the start of welding of nickel and cobalt alloys. Thank you. Next presentation shall be on nickel and cobalt alloy arc welding.